The story is about a soldier who had been apart from his closest companion for a couple of years. The reunion between them was so stunning and heartwarming that you won't believe it until you see it. Tom Hansen, a soldier and dog handler, was sent on a mission to Afghanistan without knowing that the assigned Labrador would eventually become his closest companion. Upon meeting Taylor, the Labrador, Tom had already interacted with various types of service dogs and had built relationships with several of them over his years of training and service. Nevertheless, Tom quickly recognized that the bond he shared with Taylor was distinct and special. Their mission in Afghanistan was to detect various explosive devices, including bombs, ammunition, guns, and vehicles. Working together, Taylor and Tom formed an unbeatable team. During one of their initial missions together, the team ventured into a hazardous region to detect any explosives. It was during this operation that Taylor's actions unexpectedly shifted, solidifying Tom's trust in her for a lifetime. Tom's extensive background as a service dog handler enabled him to discern that the Labrador had picked up on a scent. However, upon investigating the area, they found no trace of any target items. Tom was tempted to assume that the dog had simply misunderstood a scent, but when he moved closer to the spot, she was circling a small metal object caught his eye. It was a discarded I-8 improvised explosive device buried in the dirt. Taylor hadn't misunderstood a scent. In fact, she had done her job so well that she picked up something that small. Tom's heart swelled with pride, and from that day on, he vowed in his heart that he would never doubt her. Through the months, Taylor and Tom faced numerous emotional and physical challenges. But they had each other to trust and rely on through it all. Their partnership and friendship grew stronger as they weathered the terrain and did their job side by side during their missions. Tom had so many close shaves with explosives and enemy fire that he most definitely wouldn't have made it out alive without Taylor. He said as much every time he talked about her too. There were many times that all that stood between him and an active explosive were Taylor's sharp instincts. It was no wonder why Tom trusted her with his life and loved her so much. After Tom's tour was over, he was eager to have Taylor come home with him. He did everything he could to ensure that they stayed together, but unfortunately for him, it didn't work out. While handlers typically have the first pick of having their dogs come home with them, there are some occurrences where the dogs are required to stay in service longer than their handlers. As such, the dogs are reassigned to new handlers and remain in active service. Unfortunately, for Tom and Taylor, this is what happened. Tom went home and Taylor, being such a good service dog, stayed in service with another handler. For months, Tom was so sad that his dear partner was still in service while he was forced to move on without her. After a while, Tom accepted that his best friend Taylor was doing what she was best at, and while he knew he might never see her again, he was proud of her. Sergeant Tom soon started working again, and he was transferred to a military base in Missouri. Here at his new job, the sergeant reconnected with a longtime colleague, an Army Staff Sergeant named Emily Donner. Emily had served as a field medic in Afghanistan with Tom, so they were able to bond on similar interests and experiences. After they became friends again, the pair soon started dating, got married, and started a life together in Boise, Idaho. It had been 2 years since Tom and Taylor parted ways. He had lost all hope of ever seeing Taylor again, but he kept memories of her and the time they spent together close to his heart. The sergeant also spoke of their friendship with his wife, Emily, and now he worried about her safety in Afghanistan. Emily sympathized with how sad he must have felt when he had to move on without her. She knew how much her husband loved and respected dogs, a trait that she loved most about him. In the 2 years after his return from tour, he rescued a boxer that had been severely injured and abandoned. Emily said that seeing how a man treated pets was a great way to judge his character. So far with Tom, her theory was right. When military dogs retire, their handlers are typically given first chance to adopt them, but the process isn't easy. Many of them ended up in military kennels, thousands of miles away from their handlers. The process was so difficult that even if Taylor was retired soon, it would cost thousands of dollars to bring her home to Boise. The sergeant and his wife didn't have that kind of money 2 years after the heartbreaking separation. Taylor, the lab, turned 10 years old and she was finally retired from service. This was bittersweet news as Tom couldn't afford to bring her home. Thankfully, someone else had the resources to do so. Molly Oliver, an ex-flight attendant for United Airlines, started a noble cause to help pay back veterans for their service in the sweetest way possible. Aware of the conditions surrounding military dog handlers and taking custody of their service dogs, Molly started helping soldiers reunite with the dogs they worked with. While on tours, she set up crowdfunding projects, pooling resources to help her pay for relocating service dogs to where their handlers lived. Since starting her mission, Molly had already raised about $20,000 euros and had helped a couple of dogs reunite with their veterans. The flight attendant decided to start this because she loved dogs so much. Her mother raised many of them while she was growing up, and it broke her heart to hear that so many military dogs lost their friends once their tours were over. She believed that dogs deserved to have the best retirement after serving the country and protecting the people's freedom. So, when she heard of Taylor and Tom's separation, she was eager to step in and help bring the pooch home to where she belonged. It seemed like fate was doing everything to see that this soldier met with his best friend again after 2 years. In no time, Molly flew to the military base in Missouri, where Taylor was being kept in a military kennel after her return from Afghanistan. Soon she was on a flight to bring Taylor home. She even paid for the dog to fly first class. After all, such a special and important dog deserved the very best. During the flight, Taylor was such a good girl as well. She calmly sat with Molly throughout the whole trip. She also willingly accepted the pads from the passengers that came by to say hello and give their thanks for her service. When they touched down at the airport in Boise, Molly walked through the airport with a calm Taylor to where Tom and Emily waited eagerly for her. The moment the pair rounded the corner and Taylor spotted her favorite human, the dog's tail began to wag excitement. She could immediately tell that this was her longtime best friend who had left after her all those years ago in Afghanistan. Taylor couldn't control her excitement, and why would she? The Labrador happily ran to Tom's friendly embrace where he was crouched to the floor with open arms, with tears in his eyes. He embraced Taylor happily and told her how much he had missed her. He gave her kisses on the forehead and belly rubs, telling her how much of a good girl she was. "That's my girl," he said. As Tom lavished Taylor with the affection and attention she had been deprived of since their separation, he felt a wave of relief that his longtime best friend had safely returned home. Tom expressed his gratitude towards Molly for her remarkable work and even gave her a warm embrace. It was an incredible moment that restored a sense of harmony to his world. The sergeant revealed that he had felt incomplete without Taylor and that their reunion made him feel whole again. Taylor promptly recognized Tom and identified him solely by the sound of his voice. She remained by his side and made it evident that she had no intention of leaving. The reunion between Taylor and Tom was a heartwarming and awe-inspiring moment. Special thanks go out to Molly Oliver, who tirelessly goes above and beyond for the well-being of dogs and their human companions who serve and safeguard. Finally, Taylor and Tom were reunited. I hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe to our channel. Also, press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.